little better.
So you're talking about making this move, and why go to tight end your senior year?
Right. It's a move that I'd been thinking on and praying on quite a bit last year, coming into this year. And something that I talked to my family about and talked to my coaches about and kind of just figured it'd be a good move for me. One thing about me is I never want to look back and have regret that I didn't, put all my cards out and try everything I could. And so, obviously having the struggle on defense and just kind of not finding that niche and not finding that spot and just never really clicked. And, I had an exit meeting with Coach Alley and Coach Venables before Coach Alley went on to where he is now. And we kind of just sat down and talked about it and just pretty much came to the point like, yeah, man, it's one of those things where I can be up here at the facility every hour of the day and I can love it as much as I do, but it's like, if it's not natural, it's not natural. And I would have needed to have been doing it for a decade for it to be natural. And so I feel like I was always a step behind, but I'm always going to think that I can give more, but I like to say that I genuinely put as much as I could into becoming a linebacker. And I don't have any regret in the change now because I feel like I truly gave it my best shot. And I think it's just, for me, it's a better decision to try out the offensive thing now. I've been an offensive guy my whole life, and so getting this opportunity meow to go out and, do that again and have fun and catch balls and block and do all that stuff, it's a great opportunity.
How's that gone for it? Oh, sorry. How's that gone for you so far, that transition?
Right now it's been really good. I've had a lot of fun with it. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's more natural for me, and so getting back into those smoother thing, the smoother thing. Is that a saying? The swing of things, not the smoother things. The swing of things. Getting back into the swing of things, and so right now my biggest thing is trying to get that technique back down, and that's why I'm up here all day trying to study tape. When I'm done watching our guys and some of the Wazoo stuff in the past, I like to go through and watch some NFL teach tapes and really get into the technician of it and the technique, and so I can get that part down and come out in the field, and that's probably my biggest focus right now.
What's the biggest adjustment?
Kind of like I just said, the biggest adjustment right now is changing from linebacker to tight end and just the difference in body position, technique, how I use my hands, because as a linebacker you're always trying to get separation. As a tight end you're always trying to get them into you. You're trying to get inside of them. You know what I'm saying? So probably just the technique and becoming a technician, and that's the biggest adjustment. You know what I mean? And obviously running forwards instead of running backwards, I gotta really roll up my hamstrings so I don't pull those.
You did everything in high school, offensively, quarterback and everything else. How has the receiving aspect of playing tight end come back to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on those jugs like a baby on milk, so it's one of those things where I got a lot of work to do and I got a lot of catching up to make. You know what I mean? These guys have been catching balls and catching college passes 3 years more than I have now, and their whole lives. I caught in high school and caught touchdowns in high school or whatever, but it's been a while since I've caught that ball. So like I said, and on a more serious note, I have been in there on that jugs machine as much as I possibly can, and getting with John and getting with all the quarterbacks and throwing as much as we can and just getting a feel for that. It's one of those things that, like I said, I gotta make strides and I gotta be in there doing more. So I love that too. I love being here as much as I can and feeling as if I'm gaining ahead of my competition, or even more so feeling as if I'm behind and I have to catch up. You know what I mean? That's being a guy that's behind. It's almost like a hunger that I really like. You know what I mean?
So anytime the quarterbacks want to throw extra, you're available.
Oh, 100%. They all got my number, and I think I'm on speed dial. So.
Do you benefit from being in Coach Arbuckle's offense and learning this with everybody? It's not an offense that's already been established. You're learning from day one like everybody else. How much do you benefit from that?
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge benefit, like you said. It's a great thing for me because just like I'm learning, everybody else is learning, so I can gain a competitive advantage by being knowledgeable of the new stuff and being up there as much as I can and watching more film. And it's like, I love this tight end and I love these guys, but we're competing and we're pushing each other. And so if I can know more than the guy next to me, I can know how to go out and execute it better. And my next challenge is once I get it and once I get it down, it's helping teach these guys so we can be a good football team. Because I just love this place and I love OU. Selfishly, I want to be good, but I want this place to be good and I want to have success. I want to see Coach V have success. I want to see Coach Arbuckle and John and all these quarterbacks come in and just run up and down this field. And I'm going to work my ass off to be a part of that and contribute to that, be able to lead guys towards that goal. But, like I said, it's a huge advantage to be able to almost start on the same level. And, I think that's all.
What stood out to you so far about John?
John, he's a natural leader. You know what I mean? He comes in, he's all about business. He's a pro. He's up here almost as much as I am, as Coach V said. I run into him a lot when I'm at the facility. He's all about ball. He's a pretty simple guy outside of ball. Just loves football. He bleeds football, and he's here all the time. Just wants to be great, like we all do. And he's not so much about all the distractions that come with college. And I like that about him. He's a pro. He's a natural leader. He likes to command the offense and take control and lead these guys. And he wants to win, just like I do.
You talked about coming in to play tight end this year and the conversation you had with Coach Alley. But was there another point, like I guess during your time at Oklahoma, where this was, in the forefront of your mind, maybe switching to offense?
Coming out of high school, my head coach kind of suggested that could be a possibility, and I was getting recruited on both sides to play offense or defense. And just coming out of high school, naturally it made more sense to be defensive guy. And then so I probably didn't start thinking about it like realistically until this last year, because it almost felt like if I would have done it in the first 2 years, that's like giving up. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be able to maximize and say that I fully actually gave the linebacker thing a shot. And I feel like because it's just like anything, when you're working towards something hard or trying a new position, like you're going to have struggles. So it was a battle between trying to decide, like, are these the bumps and bruises that come along with becoming a great player at linebacker, or is this God telling me this is not where I'm supposed to be? So it's a lot of prayer, a lot of self-reflection to get to that point where I realize, like, these are more than just, you're not quitting. You know what I mean? I never wanted to feel like a quitter. I just wanted to fully feel like I maximized and gave it all to the linebacker thing. And I got to a point last year where I thought I'd reached that point, and I thought that I truly should head in a different direction.
How much did you lean on Danny throughout that process?
Yeah, that's actually something that I talked about with Coach Venables and a little bit with Allie, was when you got a guy ahead of you that's having success and doing all the things the right way, you want to try and be his shadow, and that's kind of how I was. Not so much that I wanted to be exactly like him, but copy almost his process or see what worked for him and try what worked for me. And so having a guy like that that's had success and doing all things the right way, I was right there with him doing it the whole time. And he won't tell you this, but I was probably up here watching film more than he was, which right me out doesn't really seem like it, but just trying to not so much copy his play style or his game, just some of his process, what worked for him when he watches film, how he watches film. And so we almost always watch film together. And so getting to that point where I felt like I was really doing, I keep saying this, really doing all I could to maximize myself and get myself to that spot where I could go out and play fast how I wanted to and succeed. That was kind of my biggest focus of that. But Danny was a huge help with that. Obviously he had tons of success here, and he's going to have tons of success in the future. And he's getting ready for pro day right now. I think he's going to come out and do really good. He had a really good combine, and being able to almost be in his shadow and follow his steps as a linebacker these past 2 years. And I can't necessarily speak for the other guys, but I know that they also appreciate his leadership and pretty much showing how it's done, And so having a guy like that and a natural leader like that, it's been a great advantage, a great opportunity for all the younger guys like myself.
So, Jaren, if Brent hadn't been recruiting you, the linebacker coach, the defensive guru, would you have probably started your college career as an offensive guy?
Yeah, that's a good question. Kind of going off what you're asking for, the reason that I came to Coach Venables is because I thought, and I talked to my family about, like, if I'm going to make this transition to defense, I want the best guy to teach me how to do it. And that was Coach Venables.
Right.
And so I made that decision. Like, I want to try this linebacker thing. I think this could be good for me. So I'm going to come, and I'm going to do it with Coach V. And if Coach V can't make me a good linebacker, nobody can. You know what I mean? And so, now looking back, I probably wouldn't have changed anything. And, I'm glad that this has been my journey, and I'm forever grateful for my opportunities I've had here and the opportunities I'll have in the future. And so, I'm just focusing on maximizing this new journey and this new process that I have. And obviously I still have a great relationship with Coach Venables, and I'm up there all the time. So in passing, I'll see him and I'll talk to him. I think he's still trying to get me to play a little linebacker for Oklahoma's sake. I don't know why, but no, I'm just playing. But obviously if I was going to go the offensive route, well, if I were to, then Coach V wouldn't have maybe had as much of an impact. But because I chose to start my career as a defensive guy, Coach Venables was a huge pulling factor in that.
Jaren, in today's cultural world, a lot of guys, if something like this happens, they enter the portal, maybe look for a different opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier your love for OU. What is it about OU, this coaching staff, that you kind of fell in love with, that you're like, hey, I want to stay here and figure this out here?
Right. I mean, to me, it's a body of work. I've given so much to this program and built these relationships for 3 years now, and I just have such tight ties and such a deep love for what it means to be a Sooner and what it means to play football here, and just the process and this whole staff. And it's just something that they're losing touch of in college football that is kind of unfortunate. But there's a real culture here. There's a real want and a grittiness to want to win and do all the things the right way and have these tough, challenging processes and put that work in. And I think that's just that mentality that comes with being an Oklahoma Sooner, which I just love. I love that shit. So I couldn't even think about going anywhere else. You know, I'd be here for free. You know what I mean? It's just I love playing football in this stadium for this head coach, for all these coaches, and I love the relationships I built with them, and I'm still building them. You know, and right now building them with the offensive coaches, and I'm just having a fun time doing that. Obviously, like you've heard, I try to be up there as much as I can. You know, shooting the shit with these new guys, and especially getting to know the offensive staff, and they're a bunch of great guys who have that same exact mentality. That's the reason they came here too, is they want to come to a great place like this and play fast, physical, aggressive football and go win games. So that's the kind of shit I like.